What's going on, everyone? Juice Bags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. Y'all remember the dragons, y'all, from before the great dragon extinction of 2024? It's been a long time since I've used these dragons for anything, but let's jump on in and give them a whirl here. So we are on the Crumbled Bulwark Chaos 10 in Expeditions, and gonna do a little dragon run here. Let's see, let's start off with some werewolf walls. Kind of turtle in this lane, that way I can just split the dragons here in between two lanes. And then what, we'll just face tank this lane with a werewolf here. Let's go right about like right there. Give that guy a little reflect beam as well. Alright, what do we want to do? Well, we can do a an all-for-one Skyguard on this map. So let's start off with some dragons, say, right here. And I think we can probably go 4 of them, maybe? Just go something like that. We'll throw our all-for-one Skyguard in right here. And then we'll give it the pylons, we'll give it a buff beam, and give it boost aura, and then we're going to use that to cover both the top lane here and then the bottom lane as well. And then over here, now over here we can just kind of spam up whatever is left right here, and that should kill off most of the stuff. Now, if my dragons had enough range to make it over into this lane, that would be just absolute payday for the build. However, I don't believe they're going to. Actually, we're not going to have enough left for... I think we'll not have enough left for a boost aura over on this side. But I do want to give it all the pylons and a buff beam for diffusion. And then we got, what, 30 left. Why don't we give this lane a little bit of crowd control? We'll go with what? Let's actually play on our initiate. We'll go active on our initiate on this one, and we'll just throw in a little Frost Strikes aura right there. So for my dragons, I took out, normally, of course, the go-to would be Mass Destruction, Destruction, and then Dragon's Haste. Since they've got the smaller range, they don't have very far distance to travel. With that in mind, I got rid of it altogether and threw in Power Transfer into the mix. This is what I've been using since day one of that update that changed it. And then we've got, what, the same old stuff on the werewolf. So Rebounding, Automation, and Juggernaut. So let's go ahead and give it a whirl and let it fly here. Now I'm going to... Actually, let's upgrade this lane, and then we'll buff the other lane. So we'll get some nice upgrades in over here. And then we will play active here. We got kind of... we got it in a little easy mode with... this is... a complete booster initiate, so it's focused on the knockback. So that's going to just make things kind of trivial over here in this little short lane anyway. So any of the bosses that spawn down below, I'll probably just hop down there and handle them here on my hunter. Well, let's see how it flies. I mean, the dragons are still usable. They're just very, very different. And I know that that change definitely soured lots of folks' opinions on the dragons. That is for sure. Get our little scarecrow in action there. That pretty much shuts down that whole lane. What kind of range are we looking at on the Skyguard? 11,100. So doing pretty decent on the range. That should be enough to cover the whole map. We'll have to look and make sure there's no flyers that get sneaky from right over there. Fairly smooth sailing here for the first wave. Here come the flyers now. Or actually, Yeah, those flyers will. There's no chance they'll make it. Now, where is this guy going? Let's burn him out real quick on the hunter here. And I think we'll just continue that that thought and just make this our strong side. So we'll put all of our upgrades over into this side. And then we'll just focus on tower boosting over here and knocking the enemies back on that little the little passageway right there. You have to keep an eye on that lower lane though, because they're pretty much just walking right out to the wall. No blinky lights going on the mini map for our werewolves, so I think we're pretty safe to not have to even peek down there quite yet. But I want to keep an eye on that lane for sure. See, we got a siege roller down below. We'll definitely want to attend to that guy. Let's just drop one more boost. Actually, we'll get yet another boost down. Give him a little time to come out. Alright, we'll drop a boost here. Hop on our lovely hunter. Almost fail jump off the ledge and get that guy wrecked. And then back to boosting duties. I enjoy playing the Initiate in a boosting role. So much of the game has turned into, can you DPS through it fast enough? And there's not, you know, the more you play that way, the more the strategy value of the game goes away. And I personally do prefer the tower defense aspect of the game over the, like the shooter aspect or whatever. So I do love playing the Initiate this way. I wish it was a little bit more viable in more situations throughout the game, other than just survival. And then, you know, in expeditions, of course, you can really play anything. Alright, just let it fly again. And no upgrades in over here yet, but having the boost down, I think, is just tremendous. Allowing the other side to really get juiced up with all those defenses over there. So I'm using Fire Cage, the mine carts, and then that rolling wave mod on my Initiate here. That's where all the CC is coming from. The Fire Cage, I think, could go away and take more knockback. But I do think the Fire Cage just looks really, really cool. So it's kind of hard for me not to want to use it. We're getting it. Pretty smooth sailing so far. I can't imagine we're really going to have any major issues, but nothing really even remotely getting pushed. And I guess the Skyguard range is enough to cover that side. I'll try to pay attention to flyers coming in and see exactly where the Skyguard starts shooting them from. Okay, here come the flyers now. Oh yeah, it's just pounded into them from way, way out there. So we're in great shape in the flyer department. That was my only real main concern on this one. Yoink all this mana up. It's like the enemies are doing a little weird back and forth here, which they tend to do on this one. Sometimes they'll walk out and then decide that they want to go this way instead. You can really capitalize on that, of course, if you have defenses hitting in that area, but since we don't have anything hitting over there, we're not really getting much value out of it. Alright, just spam the rest of it in, and away we go. Yeah, super smooth sailing. I actually haven't done this map in a really long time. This used to be considered kind of one of the go-to farming maps because you can make it run fairly quickly if you've got it all set up. And then as far as clusters anyway, either farm an Ember Mount for the boss weapons or just AFKing Unholy Catacombs kind of took over. But many, many, many years ago, this was considered one of the better farm maps in the game. You can basically shut it down to 3 lanes. One lane here, one lane below, and then one lane right there. So that gives you 300 DU per lane. If you shut it down to 3 lanes, that makes just a lot of builds viable. And I think that is what people enjoyed about this one. 187 left, so still a few enemies coming. Besides farming clusters, though, not a whole lot to do on this one. It's where some of the maps, I think, lose some of their attractiveness for grind maps, unless you just lose or unless you just really, really like that particular map, if there's not something extra to grind on it. So you're getting moats and clusters, and that's all you're really going to get out of this one. And you can get the same thing on Ember Mount, yet get the boss, have the boss weapon pool. Oh, I was like, where the heck is that enemy at? It was a hex thrower, though. Alright, in wave 5, I think we can just let it go here. As soon as it is available to us. A little Slakelion action this time, but single-player expeditions, pretty easy to set up, even with your alt. Well, I mean, even in 4-player. 4-player AFK, of course, is definitely doable in expeditions. However, the real power of playing with 4 players is to get all of the additional hero damage. So, if people are being active, it's going to kind of break the entirety of the game. This fire cages just rip off, man. They look super, super cool. Their effectiveness as a stun, the diminishing returns stack up on it so fast, and it just ends up not really doing much. But it's really, really cool to look at, that's for sure. And they proc like crazy. Few hundred left. I haven't even really looked at that lane very much. We don't even really need to spray that down, I don't think. I think the dragons will just handle it without spraying it down or boosting, really. They should just handle it, but might as well do something well. Alright, 80 left. We're just about there. Looks like our werewolf's taking a little damage down below, but nothing too bad. Tuskar's going to get a couple of slaps in, but you see the werewolf's just going to heal through the majority of that quite easily. So we got our flyers and Slakelion, and then it is all over. So dragons still very, very usable. Just not quite what they used to be. I enjoyed the dragons, I definitely enjoyed the dragons, so it was one of my favorite defenses to use, and now I find myself almost never using it. But they are still usable, just not what they used to be, that is for sure. But anyway, that will do it for today. Thanks an absolute ton for watching, and I will see you next time around. Take it easy.